Welcome back to Edupreneur Diaries, and hello to all of my budgeting buddies. We have made it to the end of March, and this time we're going to do a March budget closeout. So feel free to grab a pen, grab some paper, grab my diary link below, and close out your budget with me. Also, I'm going to give you some tips at the end of the video on how to get started with budgeting if you don't have one. So let's jump in. All right, you guys. We are here. This is March, and we're going to close out our budget. So if you haven't done so, go ahead and grab your budgeting tools and items and go ahead and close out your budget with me. So let's jump in and talk about the sheets that I use when I'm budgeting each month. So I show you guys this every single time. These are my new budgeting tracking sheets that I created. And I've told you before that I used to follow the Budget Mom. I still follow the Budget Mom, but I used to use her products. And now I use my own products for my personal budget, but I do still use her. She has some, what are they called? The little small budgeting books. I can't even think of the name of it right now, but they're small. They go in your purse. I use those for my business tracking. So anyway, here is my budgeting calendar that I use each month. And then I also use my expense tracker. And you can see my actual monthly budget here on the screen as well. So these are the 3 sheets that I use to budget. So we're going to go through and take a look at each one for the month of March. And again, you guys go ahead and grab your pen and paper so that you can close out your budget for this month as well. So here's my calendar, and I'm going to tell you again the way that I use my calendar each month. So I start by entering the dates for the month on the calendar, as you can see here on the screen, right? Then I do things a little bit different. I enter my credit card due dates instead of my bill due dates. Okay, and I do this because all of my bills are on auto pay to my credit card. So I would prefer to know the due dates for my credit card so that I know that I pay off those cards on time versus the due dates for my bills, because I really don't need to know that it's on auto pay. It's going to be paid automatically, right? So that is how I do mine. You guys comment below and let me know what you do. Do I have any other credit card budgeters out there? I'm just interested to see if I do, but that's what I do, and it's been working for me, and that's just what I love and it's what I like. So also I put subscription cancellations on here. Typically I don't do a lot of 7-day, 10-day trial subscriptions, but occasionally I do, so I need to put it on my calendar, or maybe it's 3 months or whatever. So I try to remember to put those on my calendar so that I can cancel. And then I also put pay dates on my calendar. So I want to see the dates that I'm getting paid, whether it's my personal income or my business income. I put that on there. And then I have goals and my to-do list there at the bottom. And I'm a work in progress on those goals and to-do lists because I've had a lot going on. But I'm going to really try to get on track for the second quarter of the year so that I can try to meet these goals. So we'll see. I'm going to keep you posted. Next up, we have my expense tracker. Now, I actually had to use 2 expense trackers for this month. So you can see page 1 here on top, and then I put page 2 behind it so that you can see I have some transactions there as well. And something new that you don't see a lot of on my trackers is that I have some deposits here for this month. So I've had a credit. I think I returned something and got a credit. And then I had to deposit some extra money because I had a water bill where I had to pay a deposit because I did move into my home, you guys, closed in January. So I had that water deposit. So I put that in. Also, I'm excited to tell you that I put another $1,000 toward my cushion. You can see that on page 2 there. And so now I'm at $4,000 for my checking account cushion. My goal is $5,000 by May. So I'm on track. Excited about that. So here's how I do my expense tracker. Again, I've already told you everything is on auto pay to credit cards. So at the top of my tracker, I put my account, which I use Varo. It's an online bank. I love it. And then I put the month and my starting balance. So my starting balance is whatever I'm rolling over from the previous month. So last month I had a $3,000 cushion. So I rolled over $3,016.94. Now, if you look on page 2 of my tracker, you can see that this month I have a $4,000 cushion. So I'm rolling over $4,004.35. So I'm excited about that. I'm not going to talk about each and every one of these transactions, y'all, but I do want to mention that I do use categories. I probably don't use them enough, and I definitely don't use them like the budget mom uses them. But I do keep track of categories, but I don't go back to see which category I spent the most money in or what have you. Maybe that's something I can do in the future. But I do list my categories here next to my transactions. So everything was pretty much on point with my budget this month, with the exception of the water. I did have that deposit, and I believe that was it. Everything else was pretty much on point with my budget, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay, so that's how I use my expense tracker. Now, also, I make sure that every time I get a transaction on my phone through the app, through the credit card app, I put that on my tracker. So I typically do this every morning. But if I have time, I'll do it in the evenings as well. So those notifications that come on my phone, I leave them there so that when I get home or the next morning, I can write those transactions down, or I can just go into the credit card app and see the transactions and write them down as well. So I'm looking at my budget pretty much every single day. All right. Then I'm going to update my balance here. Each time I make a transaction, I'm going to update the balance in the last column. And of course, at the end of the month, I'm going to roll over my balance. And my balance should always be at least what the cushion is. And if it's not, then I'm going to use my fund money account to replenish it. And I did have to replenish this month, you all. So as you can see on page 2 of the tracker, I had to deposit $10 because at the end of my closeout, I had $3,995.22. So I was a little bit short of my $4,000 cushion. So I went ahead and put $10 in. I never have to put in much. If I'm under budget, I never have to put in too much because I'm never too far over budget. But I did put in $10, which brought me over to where I needed to be. Okay. So that's how I do it. Again, that's just what's been working for me. If you guys do something else, comment below. So let's talk about whether I was over or under this month. How did I do? So of course, my fixed expenses, everything was on point. Of course, those things don't change. But what we want to look at is the variable expenses. My water was over because I told you I had to do a deposit. Groceries number 1 was over as well. Remember, I do groceries twice a month. Gas numbers 2 and 3, they were over, and I'm doing gas now 3 times a month. Since I moved, I'm doing 3 times instead of 2 times. Electricity was over because that's partially because it was kind of low anyway. I'm gonna increase that electricity budget for the month of April. But then I was under in gas 1, and groceries 2, and my manicure pedicure. Excuse me, y'all. So that is how I did, and you can see that here in the circle. You can see where I've written those items in. So the way that my budget works, I only have to write in my variable expenses because everything else is fixed. So what I do is when it hits my credit card and I put it on my expense tracker, I simply go through and put a check mark next to those items once they have posted to my credit card or once I've made the transfer. So if it's savings or investments, when I make those savings account transfers, I'm going to check them off. Or if it's on auto pay, and once it goes, where it needs to go, I'm going to check it off, right? And I do have a zero-based budget. So at the bottom, you'll see that my total income minus my total expenses is going to be 0, right? You can also see how much I'm spending in red in each one of the categories. Now, you can see this a little bit better if you go back and watch my budget with me videos, but right now this sheet is probably not close enough for you to see, exactly what those numbers are. So let's talk about tips on how you can get started creating a budget if you don't have one and you want to get started. So of course, for me, I like to use my own printables, but you really don't have to do that to get started. You can use just paper and pen, right? That's all you need. Now, as you create your budget and as you work from month to month, you're probably going to want something a little different. You're probably going to want a printable or some type of Excel spreadsheet if that's your thing. But to start out, you can just get paper pencil or maybe get a notebook, right? But you want to track your income and expenses first. Now, for me, it's a little bit easier because I only get paid once a month. So if you are a bi-weekly or weekly, employee, then this may get a little bit more complicated for you, but it's doable. I definitely recommend following the Budget Mom because she does do some real life budgets where she has to break down income that is budgeted weekly or bi-weekly. Okay, so definitely check her out. And number 2 is categorize your expenses. Now, this is something I can work on, but I do write down my categories. But if you follow the Budget Mom, she does this a little bit more and keeps track of what category she's spending the most in. So if you are that type of person, she's a good person to follow. Me, I'm just writing it down just, to know, but I'm not really tracking to see where I'm spending the most because I know I'm doing a lot of saving and a lot of investing. I'm kind of doing what I need to do for right now. So next we have allocate your income. So you want to make sure that your income is going exactly where it needs to go. Your debt, your bills, your savings. So allocate them accordingly based on your bills and your personal expenses. Okay. Number 4 is prioritize your expenses. Y'all make sure that you pay those things that need to be paid first. Okay. So if you have a lot of sinking funds, and I love my sinking funds, y'all, but right now I only have $150 a month going into sinking funds because I have some other priorities right now. But I do plan on increasing my sinking funds once I pay off my car. I can put that car payment into sinking funds and back into my tithes. But right now, it's going other places. So prioritize based on, your life and your situation, and just make sure you're getting things done that needs to be done in order. Okay. And then number 5 is monitor your progress. And so this is what I was saying earlier. I look at my budget every single day. Now, depending on your lifestyle and what you got going on, you may not need to do it every day. You may not be able to do it every day. But I do recommend at least weekly to monitor your progress. And progress is with 2 S's, not 1. It's showing 1 S on my end. But anyway, monitor your progress, you guys. That is going to be key. So that's all I have for you for my March budget closeout. Comment below and let me know how you did for the month of March, or any other comments that you want to share so we can talk about it. And if you are loving this content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time Edupreneur Diaries posts a new video. Thanks for watching.